Okay, I think I left you with the cell wall. Plants have cell walls. This is this green around the outside in this image. It is thick, strong cellulose. It gives the plant a shape. Animals do not have cell walls. Only plants do. And then in the prokaryotes, bacteria do. So in our analogy, this cell wall would be like the exterior structure of the factory. And if you see this plasma membrane here, that's that little kind of yellow-orange lining inside here. That's what animals only have. They don't have a cell wall with it, but both plants and animals have that plasma or cell membrane, which we'll talk about in a little bit. All right, so let's talk about mitochondria. I think you've been hearing about that your whole life probably. The powerhouse of the cell, the currency of the cell. It's what makes the energy that makes everything go. And so actually it's releasing energy through cellular respiration. So this is the mitochondria right here, and it produces ATP. It breaks down your food that you've eaten and releases the energy from it so you can do whatever it is you need to do. Our factory analogy sometimes is it's the money because it's what runs everything here. Plants and animals both have mitochondria. They both have to break down that energy and use it. But plants are those magic ones we couldn't live without that capture solar energy through photosynthesis and converts it into a chemical molecule with energy, otherwise known as glucose is a good example. And so the guys that do this are right here. Chloroplasts. See those green guys? In the factory analogy, that you might think of that as the contract for work that sets up payments and collecting payments, because it's not exactly the money yet. It's not what's running it, but it's what's getting us the money. It's the last step before it. So where would we find a whole bunch of mitochondria? Recognize that? You betcha. That is a sperm. That little guy has a long way to swim. Big time. And so this whole flagellum back here, flagella, is full of mitochondria. So it can release ATP like crazy and keep on going till it gets to its final destination. And then if you like poultry, if you like eating chicken, the thighs are called dark meat. They're darker in color. That's simply because they have more mitochondria, because that's a large muscle of the body for those chickens. Kind of interesting, I always thought. So folding in here, inside the mitochondria, has a whole bunch of folding. Once again, more surface area. We just want more surface area, and then we can create more ATP, releasing it. So the cytoskeleton is this whole interconnection of the cell. It maintains the shape of the cell some. It assists with movements of cell parts and organelles. The organelles actually sometimes move. Remember all those vesicles moving? They move along the cytoskeleton. So it's this network of interconnected, these protein filaments and tubules. So if you think of it like a major highway system inside that cell, you actually have it right. In our factory analogy, we'll think of it as a communication system within the factory. It could be even the halls and corridors that connect each section. So here's kind of a picture of it. It's this reddish stuff. And so we have these things, these fibers that connect all the way through. So let's say we had something produced on this endoplasmic reticulum on that ribosome, put in a vesicle, boom, and it's kind of bumped along that until it goes over wherever the Golgi apparatus is. So highway system. What organizes it, makes that superhighway? That's a centrosome. A centrosome is kind of a weird thing. We actually don't know completely about it. It kind of surprises us. I think we think, oh, maybe it does this, but it does manage the building of all those fibers inside there, of that superhighway system. And when we talk about mitosis, it's also what helps organize and make the centrioles and all this whole business that creates, divides the DNA. So let's think of that as processing headquarters, that it organizes the movement of material to factory floor and products away from the factory floor. So intracellular proteins, so these are those microtubules I'm talking about, and they're made of actin, myosin, they're microtubules, and keratin. Those are the main ones. And it's actually ATP works directly on it to bounce that organelle along. It's a chemical reaction that makes it move. Extracellular matrix enables cells to migrate along intracellular